The 10.3 update recently went live in Warpath, and with it brought a brand new officer. And to say she is possibly going to be at the top of the mountain or the top of the food chain might be an understatement. We're going to jump in. We're going to take a look at all of her skills. We're going to talk about some potential pairings that might go well with her, as well as some potential officer skills that might amplify her already incredibly high damage output. So let's not waste any time. Let's go and jump right into the video. Welcome back. I hope everybody is doing well. I hope life is going wonderful for each and every one of you. I'm excited to talk about the new officer. She looks like she's going to be a really, really high-end officer, possibly at the level of some of the premium exclusive lounge officers, but she is completely free to play and fully accessible for absolutely everybody in the game. So I'm excited to jump in and talk about her. But before we do, make sure you guys like this video, subscribe to the channel if you are not already so you don't miss any future uploads. Again, if you want to stay updated with the latest and greatest across Warpath, whether it is big fights taking place, big news across Warpath, big updates that come to the game, whatever it is, this is the channel that you want to make sure you are subscribed to. Let's try to get this video to at least 125 likes. Now let's go ahead and jump in and start talking about Madam Havoc. All right, so here is Madam Havoc. She is a brand new tank officer that has been added to the game. She is a Generation 4 officer. Let's start off with her tactical skill. So her tactical skill deals skill damage to an enemy, damage coefficient 1800. That's just her baseline damage coefficient, regardless of whatever unit type she is on. But if you put her on a tank or helicopter troop, it increases the skill damage coefficient by 25%, which then gets us to a total of 2250 in terms of damage coefficient, and that is at the absolute top of the food chain in Warpath as it stands right now. I mean, that's pretty wild. We're talking 2250 damage coefficient, guys. Like, if we really step back and think about that, that's pretty wild. I mean, that is at the absolute top of the food chain for tank officers. But moving on to skill number 2, increases the firepower of this officer's tank and helicopters by 40%. So, you know, good add there for a passive skill. No complaints about that. Her third skill, which is a special skill, increases the damage resist of this officer's tank and helicopter troop by 30% for 10 seconds when entering combat. So another big value add there. Skill number 4, which is an offensive skill, increases the damage intensity of this officer's troop by 20%. Anytime we can increase the damage intensity of a troop, that is a big win across the board. So 20% there is definitely super, super helpful. That's on the same level as like Thorn Countess's offensive skill that you can use. 20% damage intensity buff, so a big win there. Now, once you've got her fully awakened skill is whenever this officer's tank or helicopter troop attacks an enemy, it gains a stackable effect for 8 seconds, up to 10 stacks. Casting this officer's tactical skill consumes all existing stacks, increasing the skill's damage coefficient by 90 for each stack. So, I mean, we are creeping into like quite literally uncharted territory in terms of overall damage coefficient. So again, on paper, she is a must-have, especially if you are a tank-focused player. This is a huge, huge win. Now, we don't know, obviously, what unit specifically she's going to go well on. I know a lot of people are talking about the MBT, the main battle tank. I think that's definitely going to be a good fit for her. I've seen some people talking about some light tank potential with her. That's obviously going to be something we're going to have to take a look at and do some testing on. But just speaking in general terms, she is going to be a must-have for anybody that is a tank-focused player. Now let's talk about some potential skill training skills that you guys are going to be able to apply to her that are going to amplify the damage output and just the overall production and value that you're going to get from her. And now again, I haven't done any official testing or anything like that, so this is just kind of my first impression, first take, if you will, on what at least sounds like it might be a good fit on her. So the first skill that comes to my mind is going to be Professor Payne's offensive skill. Increases the officer skill boost of this officer's troop by 30%. 5%. Another one that definitely has piqued my interest is from Svelin, which increases the normal attack boost of this officer's troop by 30%. So just stacking more damage on more damage on more damage. And then, of course, you could potentially look at adding Thorn Countess's offensive skill somewhere in there, increases the damage intensity of this officer's troop by 20%. Now let's talk about some potential other officers that might pair really, really well with Madam Havoc. So one potential pairing that might be extremely good is Professor Payne. Now, Professor Payne, as we all know, is an exclusive lounge officer, so to get him through a free-to-play method, it's going to take you quite a long time. Or if you want to invest in the exclusive lounge event itself, you can to speed that process up. But if you do have Professor Payne, he might be a really solid option to go with Madam Havoc. Another one could be Lady Justice. Again, without doing any testing, we don't know, just kind of taking into consideration different tank officers and some of their skill sets, what might pair well and complement Madam Havoc's skill set. So we've got Lady Justice, we've got Rapier, which depending on obviously what unit you use him on, specifically a light tank, might be a really lethal combination. And then of course Golden Eagle, which as we all know at this point, Golden Eagle is an absolute menace on pretty much any unit you put him on. So that's also obviously kind of you at least have to include Golden Eagle on that list because of how good and versatile he really is. So with that being said, I would love to hear what you guys have to say about Madam Havoc in general. Do you think she's going to be a monster? Do you think she's going to be a bust? Do you have any idea on what other officers you are looking to pair with her and what skills you might consider putting on her? I would love to hear anything that you guys have, thoughts, input-wise, whatever it is, let me know in the comments below. If you have stuck around and made it this far into the video, if you've got access to Discord and are not already in our community Discord server, the link to that is going to be in the description of the video. Click on that link, it'll take you right into the community Discord server. Whether you are a new player, have questions, want to talk about officers more in depth, or whether you're a veteran player and just want to come hang out and get to know more people in the community, it doesn't matter. Absolutely everybody is welcome. As always, thanks for taking the time to watch the video. We'll see you guys on the next one.